That's that. And now we're going to go live. We are almost there, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are live. We are live on Facebook. It is Monday afternoon, and I have three incredibly talented individuals with me today. We have Steve Nash, Todd Paxton, and David Polson. Hi, guys.
What's up?
Man, I tell you, I'm not sure we've ever had just an incredible group of top producers, and we've had great groups, and guys, you are up there. So thank you so much for being here today. And for those of you that are listening out in Facebook land, if you may, and our Bold Facebook group, we're excited that you're here today as well. So let's do a little bit of intro. Todd, let's start with you. Todd Paxton, who is he? Where's he from? And how many times has he been bold?
I'm Todd Paxton, owner of the Paxton Group in Southern Indiana and Louisville, Kentucky. Been an agent 16 years. This tomorrow we graduate Bold 2.0, and it is my 6th time. I'm Todd, and I'm Bold 6 times, right? And
I love it.
Our team, we have 12 people on our team, 10 agents, and 2 on the success team. And this year, we'll do 220 units here in Southern Indiana, Louisville, which equates to about $35 million in volume.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Todd. We're going to come back, and I'm going to ask you some questions about your bold journey. Steve Nash, with all due respect, you're like one of the top agents in Nashville, and you just got done with your first bold, buddy.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
It was absolutely amazing. So we did about 54 million last year. We're going to be, I think right now we're at 37 million. We should probably equal that. It's a complete mindset shift. And that was interesting to me because I had never been to a bold before. I've been with Keller Williams 15 years. I've been in the business 19 years and never once did that. And it was hugely monumental for myself, but even more so for my team. Their productivity has been up about 25% since bold. That equates to a lot of money, a lot of transactions, and a lot of help families in what they brought from.
Well, and Steve, we're going to come back to that because I want to ask you kind of what took you so long, not from a negative perspective. I just would love to hear, what were you thinking, and now what are you thinking since you've gone through that process? Sure. And then David, talk to us.
So I'm newer to KW. I'm only been with KW for about 2.5 years, 10 years in the business, and I'm 6 times bold. And it's been incredible. I did 21 million last year and expect to do more this year. But I wanted to get into KW. I wanted to really live the life here. It's what attracted me to the company, and bold is like KW 10 times.
I love it.
So I recommend it to everyone.
Well, Dave, and thanks so much for joining us. And so I'm going to start with you, if I could, and I'm going to ask all of you, when you went to your first bold, what was your business trajectory? And now that you've gone through 6 or 7 times, what has that trajectory been? And the reason that I want to ask you that is, people see all of your success and they go, well, yeah, and they've been in business for this long or this long, and really, all of your trajectories have been a pretty short time in bold. And so where did you start, David, in your first time in bold, and obviously where are you at right now?
When I started bold, I was at about 12 million.
And that was 2.5 years ago.
Yes.
And so you've gone from 12 to 21.
One, yes.
Wow. And
And
that's what
keep on rising.
and you keep on rising and you keep coming back. That's amazing. Steve,
It's
go ahead, David. Nope, you
no,
finish
no.
up.
I just it's so much more. It really resets your mind. And coming from a different company, where companies don't care about your mindset,
Yeah.
it's been amazing.
So David, let me ask you one question before I shift. So how soon after you came to KW did you go to your first bowl?
Oh, I don't know, right away. I just
Yeah.
tried to do everything,
Yeah.
and then I keep on seeing great results, and so I'm like, I'm a bold junkie. So
Well, we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that because there's people who are in this group and there's people who are watching. And, we're going to talk about what the October launches are and what's going on. And yet there's people who go, yeah, I did bold and I'm good. I don't need it anymore. And yet you just hit on something we're going to come back to. So thank you so much. So,
sure.
Todd, I'm going to ask you. So you've been to bold 6 times.
Yes, sir.
Where did your business start and where are you at right now?
My first bold was almost 5 years ago in Louisville, and at that time, the team concept was new to me.
Right.
I'm a country boy, farm boy. I know I do it all, right? I just go after it. And then I learned leverage, and bolds helped me learn leverage through the years. So the first time I took bold, our team was in the year of doing 18 million.
Okay.
And here in Southern Indiana, today the average sales price is 180,000.
Oh my gosh.
We have to crank those units
Yeah.
to get the GCI and the volume up, and that's just what we do. While all staying in relationship, obviously.
Right.
So 18 million. Then through the years, just growing, learning. The river is never the same the second time that a person goes through it, and nor is the person. So one of my favorite quotes. And just learning through these things through the years has helped us grow into nearly $40 million producers here in Southern Indiana, Louisville area. So
yeah, that's amazing. And one of the things I've been fortunate to be in a room with you, Todd, is that you've also, through your bold journey, you've actually grown talent around you who's been in that room every time with you, and now they're holding key leadership roles on your team. And I think that's an exciting thing as well.
absolutely. Our director of operations has been in bold as an assistant, back in the day. I was just like, come on, we got you. Let's grow through this. And just having those conversations and being in a room of higher thinking. And then our director of sales, she's been in there three times, maybe 4 in bold. And it's just a powerful, powerful piece of the way we run our organization. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Steve, I want to come to you, although your journey is still developing because you were just in Nashville with a group of the top 100 agents in that marketplace. It was a kind of an exclusive bold. It was the top 20%. You brought your whole team to that bold. And so just share a little bit about that journey with your team.
I showed up day one, and I took my top sales associate, and when we were sitting in there, I was blown away just day one, and thought I really would love to bring everyone else. So I came and asked, "Hey, is this something I can bring my entire team to?"
Yeah.
Sure. And it's changed everything for them. What you learn and how you teach, you being the bold program itself, is different than, let's say, a team leader would be. I'm a much more, let me get in there and let me do it. And then you start to see that you need to cultivate their minds, and in a coming from a position of value, gratitude, seeing that. And that's more what I took out of that is, wow, there's so many better ways to do this. There's so many things that are already in place that I should have been taking advantage of.
Yeah.
We've done 300 deals a year, a lot of times, several hundred deals many, many times. But now it's happening with ease because of the team, because of the joy. That's been the biggest difference.
So guys, I want to transition a little bit and shift. And first, I want to share with everybody, we have 140 launches scheduled to go across the United States starting in October. It'll be the biggest bold launch ever in the history of bold. There'll be 11,000 plus agents in bold rooms in October. And that's always the biggest launch of the year. And yet this will be the biggest ever in the history of bold. you all have had an opportunity to experience both the classic bold and then the new bold. And so share with, and let's start with you, Todd.
Mhm.
Top producers have a mindset. It's not a bad or good, right or wrong. It's just a mindset. They either don't need bold, they're too busy for bold, bold doesn't work for them, it's too much rah-rah. And so you're in the new bold now, and you experienced the classic and the rah-rah and all that. From your perspective, how has bold changed, and how are you applying that in your business?
As a high D, I'm going to say there's enough rah-rah in that room now.
You mean we got rid of the rah-rah?
I didn't want to say it, but you said it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Somebody asked me the other day, we were having a conversation. They go, "Are you still doing those posters?" I said, "They're out." "Are you still doing the chants?" "They're out." "Are you still doing the money drop?" "It's out." And
Thank
they're like,
you.
yeah, they're like, hello, right? Hello.
So we were apprehensive when we heard, the second most important thing from Bold is coming up next week. I'm like, oh, please don't let it be the money drop or making a board or a poster or whatever.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, I love how we talk about listing presentations. It's not only is Bold 2.0 fresh and not all new material, it's still at the core foundational.
The fundamentals we've
Absolutely.
kept in there, we're just changed how we're presenting them.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, listing presentations, buyers, growth, wealth building, all these foundations of growing, not just being a realtor, but growing a business. I love that. Absolutely love it. And there are, I don't want to give everything away. There's a couple pieces that are still remaining that I'm like,
Which was your favorite? Give it away, because this is a teaser, right? Give it away.
Oh, dude. Financial thermostat.
Oh, yeah.
The financial thermostat. 2 years ago, it was, we did, the financial thermostat. I was like, my wife wants a camper. I don't want a camper, but I put it down or whatever it was. 6 months later, we left Southern Indiana in our brand new camper, took the kids out of school for 2 months, and we traveled across the country.
That is awesome.
We would not have done that. I got goosebumps now, y'all. We would not have done that without Bold.
And you know what I love? I'm going to let a little insider information. You had much longer hair after you came back from that. You look like the woolly mammoth from the north. It was so funny.
Yeah, for sure. So,
cool.
that's a great piece of Bold. And what I like about it, half of our team is in Bold now, so kudos, Steve, on that, is they hear it from us all the time. If you have a team, they hear it from you, and they're like, all right, whatever. I know I should be making my calls, and I know I'm supposed to go on listings and shut up type thing.
Yeah.
Hearing it from someone who's not from here saying the same thing, the Bold coach, is just like, yes. Yeah. And now we have seen with half of our agents a higher level of engagement. So as having a team, I love the leverage in and of itself of Bold to leverage the education and training to our team. So that's a beautiful, beautiful piece.
I love it. Steve, you went through the new Bold when we were labbing it. You had your team in there, and talk about what you experienced. You're one of the top agents in Nashville. I mean, I don't want to say the top yet. I believe you're like the top agent in Nashville, or one of the top 5 agents in Nashville. And so talk about your experience as a top agent in that marketplace.
So we're right outside of Nashville. And so what I do is I do a lot of the Clarksville, like that's mine. I've been the top there for several years. Nashville's just right down the road. So we do that there.
So you're the number 1 agent in Clarksville, to be
absolutely, correct. For several years.
Yep. Congratulations.
It's a thank you. It's an awesome community. What you just asked a question. I do apologize.
That's okay. It happens all the time as we get older in age, right? We've kind of forgot. Yes. So your experience as one of the top agents in Bold, many times I hear top agents go, I don't need Bold. And it had taken you a while to get there. And now that you're there, what were some of the biggest takeaways you had?
You're 100% right. I thought, why would I go? If you're already doing a million GCI consistently, why? I mean, truly, you think that, then it's such I mean, I don't want to say it's a drain on your time, but my mindset walking into it was, this is crazy. I've got these assignments, I've got homework, I'm putting this period of time in. And while I'm sitting here going, I don't fail. So I committed to doing it. I'm going to commit to doing it. And as I went through it, I learned there is a difference between being all in and not all in. I showed up, I did my stuff, but my team, they were blown away. I mean,
Yeah.
truly blown away because of the way that you teach. Just that what you're teaching there is monumental for them. And just like Todd said, is we say it all the time. You know,
Yep.
come on, this is easy. Do this, this, and this. But there is a difference when they hear it. You're saying the same thing, but in a fully different way that resonates with them. When we left Bold, when we completed, I cannot tell you the amount of times I've heard them say, I miss Bold. That is the weird, I mean, literally, I miss Bold. I'd love to go back. It's so fun. And I'm like, what? This is a lot of work, but it changed their lives. A couple of things we were talking about, writing things down. So one of my workers, one of my agents basically said, hey, we want to go on this trip. We're planning it forever. We got 2 kids. Just really don't have time. They planned a trip. They booked the trip. They're going. It was that simple. We went in and we sent our office manager to London and Rome. We came back and said, we've had 2 of the most profitable years, and we haven't thanked her other than bonuses. We give bonuses.
Yeah.
But I said, where would somewhere you and your husband want to go? She's like, well, we'd love to do this. Okay, you tell us, we'll book it. It changed in being thankful and being appreciative. She went there. She had a great time with her husband, and she just said, look, we would have done things that we haven't. In 20 years, I haven't been out of the country. And made it fun again. It really made it fun again to do that.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit after we hear from David about some of the pieces of the new Bold and how it ties right into that. So, David, you've been to the new Bold and the classic Bold. Top producer from your perspective. Share your thoughts.
So I liked some of the rah stuff with the old Bold. It was good. I mean, it just got you going and stuff.
Yeah.
But this new one, much better. And I like, this one is focusing more on your relationships, on your database and stuff like that.
Right.
I love cold calling. I love door knocking. I do all that stuff. But going back to your basics and not missing out on, we did the calculations on how much money you should be making out of your database and what you actually are. Eye-opener. And just, this, I think one of the greatest things I get out of this are the relationships that I make. I've had people come up. We had someone fly up from LA every weekend to do Bold with us. I went down to Silicon Valley. I've tried to mix up my Bold so those relationships come back all the time. And so it's just incredible.
Well, David, and you talk about something that top producers change their thinking on. And we actually can go back in the history of Bold and Jeremiah Taylor, top producing agent who went into leadership. He had a mindset he was going to fly from his town to, I believe he was in Arizona and he flew to Denver, and he did that every week. And for that exact purpose, and what was amazing is he set a goal in Bold to take 35 listings at the time, even though he was flying from one part of the country to another. And then, of course, we had him double it, which meant he had to get 70 listings. And he actually achieved that. That's in the history of Bold. And so, it's just amazing there. So you guys all brought up, or in various shapes, you brought up the new Bold relative to the database. And one of the things I'm going to come and ask you about, and yet I'm going to share some of our thoughts around the database. First, as you all know, if you're watching this video, the database is the number one thing. Gary says the database, your business is your database is your business. You can look at it either way. And we've spent are going to spend nearly $1 billion creating technology to put a moat around that database. And one of the things that we've done in Bold by design in the rewrite is the number one focus is the database. And frankly, every one of you on this call, your top producers, you have good to strong to huge databases, and yet every top producer that walks in the room, we do an exercise, and they're all leaving thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. And it's not because they don't have the best of intentions, it's because they don't have a system, number one. So in Bold, we've provided a very simple system to remove call bias. I know, Steve, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit. No one ever has call bias, right? We look at the phone and we go, oh, I'm not going to call them. Oh, I haven't talked with them in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 8 years. And so the system we have removes call bias, and we have people in the room who are going through their lead gen. We now call it come from contribution, and they're going through it. And because they have no call bias, they're picking up business, which they wouldn't have otherwise normally had. The second thing in the new Bold that we're doing, and I'll want your feedback on this when I get done. I just want to share with the audience. The second thing we're doing is as relates to lead gen. So it used to be in Bold, we'd have this script and we'd have to follow the script, and I'd hammer as a coach. I'd go, you can't deviate from the words. You have to say them that way. And people like, well, what if that doesn't sound like me? And we'd have a little script that'd say, well, what do you sound like? And they'd say, well, I don't know. And then we'd say, well, look at your bank account. That's what you sound like. And yet that didn't always go over well. And plus, top producers would go, well, I really have a pretty good way of lead generating. So now what we've done is we've taken some fundamental foundational scripts and we've said, make them your own, customize them, have them in a more conversational style basis. And and this is the exciting part about what we're doing. I ran into somebody at Mega Camp and they came up to me and they said, hey, I just want to share this with you. We did do you have 2 minutes to help me with the problem script? It's a great script because of the way that it's built. And he said, with the permission I've gotten in Bold to market and to customize, he says, I added, so I want you all to hear this because it's awesome. He says, I added a little piece at the end of the script that said, if they didn't have a lead for me, he would say, well, we still have 5 weeks left in the competition. So if you come across somebody in the next 5 weeks, call me. He got 64 referrals during Bold, guys. just by adding that little piece, which is the permission we're giving people in the lead gen, the come from contribution. And then the last piece is we're adding some great pieces like two-way texting, two-way social media, online reviews, client events. And what I'm really passionate about as a Bold coach is we've got top producers just like you guys who are contributing to Bold, the dailies in Maryland, David Huffaker in the Missouri St. Louis area, Tony Baroni down in Florida. And what they're doing is they're contributing to Bold, and therefore what they're doing is people are recognizing the great systems that they have. So give me your thoughts. What would around lead gen and around the whole pieces that we've added from technology, what would your thoughts be? David, let's start with you.
One of the most important things I found was the texting. I don't know how many full voicemails I get, voicemails.
Yeah.
There are full everything. But if I text them, boom, I get instant answer.
Right.
And that little tweak into Bold has made such a big difference. So I really applaud them for kind of re-innovating Bold and adding that. It's very, very important.
Well, and the cool part about it, David, is Bold is now very nimble. So, for example, if you're coming to Bold in October, you're going to see pieces from Mega Camp. That's how nimble Bold is now, which is really exciting as well. And people are lining up to contribute things. Some of our top producers are saying, hey, I'd like to share this because I'm a Bold advocate and it works for me, so share it with the field. So I love that you recognize that. Steve, what's your thoughts around database technology, what you experienced in the room?
I liked being forced to follow up. So I had a mindset of, look, they're going to call me. They know me. They've done business with me multiple times. They're just going to call me. And then you start to go, how hard is it? In that class, I can't tell you the amount of people that were like, man, it's so nice that you called me. Because I'm stuck in there and you have to call these people. And then all of a sudden they're like, man, it's great to hear from you. You never just called me to say hi.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're getting business out of it. The Facebook was interesting because I basically not in copy script, but I made, hey, I'm in this class. This is what's going on in my life. Very simple. If I can help you, let me know. And I probably took 7 or 8 listings from that of people that all responded. And I was amazed with the amount of people that respond. But the texting, we've done texting for years. And texting, you figure with 98%, they're going to respond every single time to something. You got to keep it short, but they're always going to respond. So it's learning how to do this. I would say this Bold 2.0 it's not just a feather in your cap. Even if you're a mass producer, it's not a feather in your cap. It is a sword in your sheath. It is that important to have a whole different way to bring revenue in and to sustain a long career. And I'm at 19 years. The longevity here is outstanding with what this brings in.
Well, Steve, in your particular case, it was fun as a coach to watch you light up as one of the top producers in the room and be open to really learning. And sometimes I feel like, people, whether it's top producer, new agent, or they're closed off to the learning. And the fact is that if you're not learning, you're not growing, and then you're dying. And we're in a market right now where we can't afford that. You're being attacked.
You're not learning, your competition is.
Yeah.
They're not there, they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
That simple. And
Well,
so, and if you're going to be there, learn, approach it fully, go in and listen and say, I don't know anything. What can I take it? Because you're already spending the time there. Walk out with value. There's a lot there.
And your competition today is a whole lot different. It's not the agent sitting next to you. It's the venture capital firms and the companies outside of real estate that are attempting to attack your commissions, attack the way that you do business. It's a whole different way of doing business, as Gary's talked about. So, Todd, scripts, the new way of lead generating technology. How did you embrace that in your team embrace it in the Bold Room?
How many years have we heard lead generate, lead generate, lead generate? And some of us, like me, I'm just kind of a simple brain dude. I'm like, I mean, I'll just talk to people. Who do I talk to today? Like,
right.
In this minute, who do I call? And who do I talk to tomorrow? And so last year, we sought outside coaching on a structure of how to organize a database, because we've heard it for years. Gary's like, your database. I'm like, okay, cool. We've got 19,000 people in there. How do I organize them? With the DTD2, another secret out of the bag. I don't know if I'm supposed to do it.
It's all good.
It shows us like
who to
what
call.
to do. I was an offensive lineman. I was told, go block that guy so he doesn't tackle this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now with DTD2, call this person, call this group of people this week and follow up. And the next week, these people. Okay. Yeah. And it's simple. It's simplified the process to its simplest level.
Well, and it removes call bias, number one.
Mm-hmm.
We also give you the 3-tempt approach system, where if you don't get them on Monday, what we do on Wednesday, what we do Thursday or Friday. The other thing with the new way we're at now let's be clear. It's always a contact sport.
100%.
Real estate's a contact sport. It's never going to change. However, now we've implemented forward into the conversation. So I pick up the phone and I say, hey, Steve, it's Pat Mancuso. How are you?
Fabulous. How you been?
I am awesome. Thanks so much for asking. Hey, Steve, tell me what's going on with your family. How's everybody?
Everybody's doing great. It's been just a wonderful time. We just got back from Europe. Life is good.
And so how's your career going, Steve?
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, we're growing. This city, Money Magazine named us the top place to live, and the city is growing. It's amazing to watch the growth.
And if you're watching this Facebook Live, this is a role play. Look at how his face is lighting up, though. Even though it's a role play, that's what happens. People are excited, and they love talking about what's going on in their life. And we're not talking about real estate. And if real estate comes up in the conversation, awesome. And if you interject a little, hey, by the way, Steve, do you have 2 minutes to help me with the problem? Who do you know who might want to buy or sell or invest in real estate? I'd love to help them. And then you go right back to, so Steve, tell me what you're doing for the rest of the summer. And guys, it's just so simple. And here's the thing you got to understand. The companies that you're in competition with today, they can't do this. Open Door can't do this. Knock can't do this. They can't go out and have a client party, a client function. It's not who they are. And this is our last opportunity, frankly. As Gary's talked about, we're the last line of defense against people who will do transactions on lines without real estate agents, and it's a commodity. And yet we already know buying and selling a house or a home is not a commodity. So guys, we're coming to the end here. And so I've asked y'all to prepare kind of one thought to the folks that are listening, whether it's the top producer, and I think that's who you're going to likely speak to, or anybody that's listening and going, should I attend Bold? Should I enroll? Should I go all in October? We already know October is potentially commissions checks for December, maybe November, depending upon how quickly you get them. Certainly commission for January, February, March, starting off the first of the year. So what would be each of your final thoughts to anybody watching or listening? David, let's start with you.
I think now is the perfect time really to set you up for 2020. And Bold, I mean, I just can't recommend it highly enough. I'll be there. I'll be number 7. And it's just yeah, and I got the band on. So and I wear it all the time to remind me just to go after it and get it. And that's why I came to this company. This is one of the greatest companies. We're so lucky. And then on top of it, to have a program like Bold, I mean, it's 1 day a week, but it lives through you through that whole week. And then on after that, after we're done with Bold, the relationships that we cemented with all those people, in there, it will come back to you. I guarantee it, and it always does for me, and that's why I will be there a seventh time.
I love it. Well, congratulations on that. And one thing I picked up that you said is relationships in the room, and then also the residual effect of when you walk out of the room of the pipeline you've started to build up in the business. And sometimes people don't see that, and yet it always happens. As coaches, the Bold coaches will get emails and it says, "Dear Bold coach, thank you so much for helping me in Bold. You're not going to believe what happened." And that's just that pipeline, that residual effect. So I love that. Steve?
Okay, mine would say, when I get a team member and I tell someone, they're new, let's say they don't really know what's going on. Why would someone choose me? Well, are you good? Are you honest? Are you ethical? Are you going to answer your call and return a call? Yeah. They say, but I'm still new. I'm not going to compete with that mega agent out there. You're telling someone hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And there's a lot of people.
Repeat that. Slow down. Slow down. Hold on. I got to get my pen.
Absolutely.
Because I want everybody else to hear it. Hard work.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So this was a two-perspective thing. From a new agent, you're willing to use what they're teaching in Bold. You're gonna have such an advantage. If you're an experienced agent, you need to remember sometimes you rest on your laurels and you forget to work hard. So it's a good reignite to go, I need to jump back on that. But that's really what I took from it was. It was just reigniting a fire. Yeah. I love my job. I love the career. I love everything that it provides. But it's a lot better when you're doing it from a position of gratitude and being thankful.
Well, and Steve, one of the things that I heard you say during Bold, at least my recollection is it's not that you don't know what to do. However, now you're doing it in a different way, which is creating other opportunities. And I sometimes think top producers, again, not negative, not judgmental, because we just hear it in the room. They came in with, what am I going to learn? And they walk out with, oh my gosh, I can't believe what I learned. And maybe it's not about doing more business. Maybe it's about creating other opportunities for other people. Or maybe, frankly, and I'm going to come to Todd in just a second, maybe it's I get to take 2 months off from my business and travel the country and experience things that I haven't experienced in a long time. And I remember you sharing some of that in the Bold room.
So as soon as we graduated, we had a trip to go to Paris as soon as it was Bold graduated. So we left to Paris. We were gone. Then here's the thing about what the team took. When our office manager was gone, she runs everything. My team sold 15 homes in 7 days. 15.
Wow.
That never happened. That's a lot of homes. But it was every one of them had went to Bold. Every single one of them. And they were on it. They were calling. And now suddenly there's an endless pipeline from people that they were calling. And you're just, Hey,
Steve, I want to let you in a little secret. Those 15 sales in 7 days after you left, that's Bold.
It is.
Todd?
For me,
final thought.
It's always the mindset awareness. Every time I've done it, I know we've got some veterans as well. I'm in a different mindset. And we literally week 2, for about an hour, I was just in my journal, just really digging through because the coach led us to some thoughts. I'm like, you know what? I've been kind of frustrated with real estate. I've been waffling. I don't care if we sell houses, blah, blah, blah. Week number 2 in Bold this year, I got more clear on what I want to give life and what I want out of life than I ever have. That was beautiful. The financial thermostat exercise, I've done that with my wife every year, but this year we did it with our 10-year-old girl and our 8-year-old boy. And, we've got, if everything comes true, we're going to have monster trucks and Lamborghini Teslas and all kinds of baking goods. So you never know what's going to happen, but I tell you what is really exciting is this little 8-year-old boy and 10-year-old girl now think differently.
Right.
When somebody says money's bad or blah, 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 and negative thoughts. And they're just like, no, because we understand the process to get to a goal. So for me, it's purpose, and the financial thermostat exercise was amazing. Lastly, at the end of Bold, just last week, I'm excited to visit with them again tomorrow. 2 people said, hey, I want to join your team. I want to interview with joining you. So not only is it good for referrals for buyers, sellers, and closings,
right?
It's a talent generator just the same. So And that wasn't even intended walking in the room. It's
Right.
an unintended consequence of an intended action, and it was just an absolute beautiful conversation. So.
I love that. I love that. So, gentlemen, what I'd like to do is if somebody wanted to reach out to you and had a great referral for you or just wanted to touch base, what would be the best way for them to do that? Todd, let's start with you.
ReferIndiana.com, ReferKentucky.com. It's simple.
That's pretty simple. I love that. I love that. Steve Nash?
Whymove.com. What's your reason?
OneMove.com.
Why move?
Oh,
Why
why
move?
move?
What's your
Why
reason?
move?
Yeah, whymove.com.
move?
What's your reason? But yeah, either that or Steve Nash Realtor at gmail.com. Love to help.
Love it. Thanks so much. David?
David Polson, 415-735-6188 or sfhothomes.com.
I love it. You guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, truly appreciate your time. I know it's very valuable, and yet I know that you contributed to people out there. So, guys, please, referrals. We'd love to have these guys receive those. Lastly, I'd just say we have 140 launches in October. It'll be our biggest launch ever. Don't be left behind. Join us in one of those bolds. If you need to register and roll in bold, go to www.mapscoaching.com and select the bold tab, and you'll see those locations across the country. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a bold day. Be bold.
Be bold.
Hey.
Now, Pat, I made every single dollar back of what we put our team through when we paid to put the whole team through, and you.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Really
Thanks so much, gentlemen. Take care. Have an awesome day.
Yes.
Appreciate
Nice to
you
meet
all.
you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.